campaign analysis on the Australian Metro trains and the Dumb Ways to Die campaign. So the problem that they had is the Melbourne Metro trains needed PSAs for their train safety, and through this they hired McCain Melbourne Ad Agency, which had this idea of, rather than doing a very dry informational campaign, that they would actually do something fun and that would catch people's attention. They knew that people weren't listening to previous campaigns that they had published themselves, and including other public service announcements. So they needed a creative edge, which is why they decided to do this. So the initial advertising was a published animated video that was put on YouTube with a really catchy song, and it shows different characters dying in different ways. And something that was actually really great about this YouTube video is it was the first thing that they published in the campaign. And although they had costs associated with actually creating the video, the platform that they put it on YouTube is entirely free. And so this video they put on, it went viral within 24 hours, and their target audiences actually ended up doing most of the marketing for them.
Set fire to your hair, poke a stick at a grizzly bear, eat medicine that's out of date, use your private parts as piranha bait. Dumb ways to die, so many dumb ways to die. Dumb ways to die, so many dumb ways to die.
So that video continues on for 2 more minutes and went viral after they published it. So their media channels and their actual ad campaign, so as you can see from the video, they did primarily digital marketing in the beginning. So they had the YouTube video that went viral, and then because of that, the iTunes song, which also went viral. And again, like I said, they paid very little cost associated with creating those, and then the marketing that went afterwards was kind of done by the public for free. And then they also did out-of-home ads. So what can be seen here is a print ad that they actually put on the train tracks in Melbourne. And it shows, dumb ways to die and public train safety and things like that. And then eventually they created a mobile app, a children's book, and some stuffed animals. And those things can be seen here. So this is the Dumb Ways to Die version 2. So they actually created multiple apps, the stuffed animals, and then this is a book and figurine pack that you can buy. So what started as an initial public safety campaign turned into an entire profit center, and they started selling all these products. So the method of their campaign, it entirely employs divergence. The campaign is really blunt and humorous for public safety, and they needed a way to grab people's attention, and that includes younger audiences, as that was one of their target markets. But because of that, they received a lot of criticism and backlash, because within their app, the number one way to die in the game is by suicide. And audiences felt that was fairly irresponsible, that one of their target markets was younger audiences, and that they were promoting suicide by train. So their overall communications objective is obviously a public service announcement, and they were trying to increase public safety. And then this picture is also another example of an out-of-home advertisement, a display that they would put up in the train stations in Melbourne, and people could take photos with it and publish it to their social media or whatever it may be. And again, another example of digital marketing, how they kind of let their audiences do the marketing for them, and their costs up front were fairly minimal. And they did this by making a really fun and exciting campaign that people wanted to take photos with, because they thought it was divergent and funny and interesting. So throughout their campaign, they had 3 main target markets. The first one is obviously the people actually using the Australian Metro, because after all, this campaign was created by the Australian Metro themselves. And then their second target market was younger generation. So Susan Giano, an employee of Publicis Worldwide, said, "How on earth do you get young people to even think about the perils of trading platforms? You have to charm them into paying attention." So they kind of did this through the YouTube video and the really fun graphics that they had, and then mainly the game and mobile app that ended up going viral. And then also they wanted to target to people outside of Australia. They wanted to give away general public safety, and the way that they did this without isolating their ads to Australia is all the animals that they included in the game are not local. They wanted to make sure they weren't only doing kangaroos, so it didn't seem like it was just something applying to Australians, when in reality they wanted train safety to be something everyone was aware of. Their brand image, again, they didn't want to be stuck up, and they did this through creating, fun ads and graphics, and then they didn't want to be strictly Australian, which is why they did the campaign with specific animals, and they want to make sure it was for a global audience. And then finally, the measurement of how successful they are. The YouTube video and the iTunes song associated with it went viral within 24 hours. The song that they put on YouTube where it reached top 10 within 24 hours. And then in regards to the app, it was number 1 in 53 markets. And then it became kind of this pop culture thing where, again, their audiences were really doing most of the advertising for them. So that is my campaign analysis on Dumb Ways to Die.